Now, one of the few complaints levelled at apparently everyone's favourite game ever, The Witcher 3, is about the combat. The combat, some say, not me, but some, is just not that good. That's what some people say. Again, not me. Well, here comes a brand new mod that completely overhauls The Witcher 3's combat, and it does something pretty cool with the enemies in the game as well.
CD Projekt Red recently dropped a new update for The Witcher 3, adding HDR support on the PS4, and we know the company is already working on the next patch. But the Polish studio are not the only people working on updating the 3-year-old RPG. A group of dedicated fans has just released the full version of The Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition. Now, the Enhanced Edition is an overhaul mod that totally reworks the game's combat system, making it more intuitive for mouse and keyboard and adding in short, medium and long range attacks. The mod aims to make it easier to move Geralt around in battle. There's also a bunch of bug fixes and a specific options menu for you to tweak some of the things the mod actually does, and it incorporates another smaller mod that enhances the in-game HUD. It basically changes up a ton of the nitty-gritty, particularly around combat, from the way blocking and parrying works to combat injuries and alchemy.
But the most interesting change might just be what Enhanced Edition does to the game's enemies. There's a section under the mod's description called Unleveled World, which essentially makes the game much harder than the base game, but allows the player to go anywhere right from the get-go without fear of running into impossible opponents based purely on their XP level. NPCs don't have levels, but instead have their own unique stats. So you won't find yourself in a situation where you kill one wild dog in one hit and then encounter another that's a much higher level and so takes much more of a beating. The idea is that fights are tough and varied, but all enemies are beatable at any point in the game. But that is not everything that the mod does by any means. It's obviously a pretty ambitious project that should appeal in particular to hardcore players who want to experience some more realism and immersion. Here's a quote from the creators. Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition is a complete overhaul of most of the game's mechanics and systems, offering great depth and stimulating gameplay that will keep you wanting for more each time you delve into the carefully crafted world it lays out before you. This is going to answer a lot of the complaints and criticisms that some people have about The Witcher 3, from fans as well, I guess. You know, people who say that they love the game but they just wish that this had changed, or they just wish that the combat was a bit different or whatever. This answers a lot of stuff. There's a long list of changes. That's why we thought it was worth mentioning, because it is particularly thorough and it covers a lot of stuff in the game. I like the thing that they do with the enemies, because I like the idea that the enemies have got set stats. I always kind of prefer that. From an immersion point of view for me, I don't know what the difference is between a level 1 dog and a level 10 dog, and what did the level 10 dog do in its life to become level 10, if you know what I mean. Dogs are dogs, aren't they? I like that idea, and I like the idea that they've kind of made combat work a bit better on mouse and keyboard, because it's definitely better on a controller.
I was going to fly in then, but I clocked what you said. Hang on a minute. But this is great news for fans of the series, right? And great news actually for CD Projekt Red, because this is one way to keep your game going over the years, right? We saw it with Skyrim, the mod support, the people making mods, keeping the game alive years after its release. People still want to buy Skyrim now because of, you know, the game itself is great, but the mods are there, so it's an extra load of value for money. Yeah. So this might attract players, new players to the game. They think, oh, wait, I don't like it because people saying the combat's bad. They can try it for this now. You know, people who might have been turned off from the game because of the combat might want to try this too. So it keeps the game alive for longer, and this is great. And it promotes the game. I mean, everybody's happy that it's mods out. That's for sure.
It's definitely the kind of mod that merits a second playthrough of the game, or a third or fourth playthrough of the game. Just another visit to the game, because it changes so much that it's going to be a different experience.
In other news this week, Thanos, the villain from the Marvel Universe and Avengers Infinity War, is in Fortnite this week. Yes, in one hell of a franchise crossover, the Mad Titan is appearing in Fortnite's Battle Royale mode for a limited time, starting on Tuesday, May the 8th. The Infinity Gauntlet limited time mashup is like any other Battle Royale mode, except somewhere on the map is the Infinity Gauntlet that Thanos uses in the Marvel Universe. Whoever finds it can equip it and actually transform into Thanos himself. How did this crossover come about? Well, turns out Avengers Infinity War directors Joe and Anthony Russo are massive fans of the game and played it while making the film. Joe Russo told Entertainment Weekly, quote, "Over the past few months while we were editing Infinity War, we'd take breaks to hop on and get in a few games. And then we started thinking how cool it would be to have some kind of Avengers Fortnite mashup. So we stalked Donald," that's Donald Mustard, the creative director director for Epic Games. They ended up getting in touch and discussing the best way to make a crossover happen. The Infinity Gauntlet mode is currently available free as part of Fortnite Battle Royale on PS4, Xbox, PC, Mac and iOS.
So this is going to be pretty cool if you're a fan of the Marvel Universe and Fortnite. What I do like about it is that on first reading it looks like a cold-blooded corporate crossover that's just made for cash, but then they put this little story in there. I'm choosing to believe the story. I'm choosing to believe that the Russo brothers were playing Fortnite in between editing Avengers Infinity War, and that's why this crossover happened. So that's pretty nice. It's nice that there's an actual good motivation for this to happen and not just cash.
We actually saw some of the gameplay where a guy was Thanos and he did this like move and he ended the game and he won. How overpowered it is, I don't know.
It's like melee focused as well. You're locked into melee, so you've got to like punch people.
It looked really overpowered, but luckily, if you're scared of Thanos, like many people probably are, it's only for a certain amount of time. So
it's like finding the snitch in Quidditch or whatever in Harry Potter. Like you can play the game as much as you want, but whoever finds the snitch wins, right?
That's right.
That's a fucking good comparison. And lastly in the news, within 3 days of launch, Beat Saber, a VR rhythm game with lightsabers, became the highest rated game on Steam ever. Full stop. Now that's not VR game, but the highest rated video game of any kind. Beat Saber currently holds a 98% positive score on Steam with 2,049 reviews at the time of recording. At one point, it had a 99% positive rating based on 1,250 reviews. The game is still in early access with 10 songs and 4 difficulty modes. Players are tasked with slicing incoming blocks with your lightsabers, kind of like Guitar Hero. Previous top rated games on Steam include Valve's own Portal 2 and The Lab, which was another VR game. This looks really cool, doesn't it?
It does look very cool.
It's very colourful and very sharp and responsive from the gameplay. Honestly, it's one of the first titles I've seen for any VR. And I actually thought, I have to get a VR headset. I have to play this.
You're a bit of a Star Wars nerd, so doing those lightsabers really appeals.
It looks cool.
Quite cool. But for me, it's like it's quite cool because it's that fitness thing, right? You can exercise and play games now.
Oh yeah.
So you can you have to dip to the side and you got to do swipes in certain directions as well. So you got to get your timing right.
She was really moving a lot to do it, wasn't she?
It looks really cool. I'd try it. That's for sure.
So how about that Witcher 3 mod then? Does that sound like something you'd want to dip into the game again just to check out and see what's changed? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. There's another video right there which you could watch right now if you want, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.